This documentary was created with the purpose to honor and to remember Lester and Bub Salerno's service, to commemorate theirs and those who have served for our country valiantly.
We both were born here in Kenosha, and we grew up here until we went to the Army.
There was 5 boys in our family.
And 6 girls.
And 6 girls. There was 11 in our family. All 5 boys were in, there was 4 in the Army and 1 in the Marines.
Right here, Bradford, 1943.
I graduated the year after, 1944.
I ended up captain of football for 2 years. They didn't have T formation like they got now. It was all single wing. The ball was snapped way back there. Then I had the ball and I'd either hand it off or it's all different. And yeah, we won the championship in 1942.
Like we had brothers that were drafted before, and they used to write home and talk about the Army life and stuff like that.
When my brother Bill went in, he was in the cavalry, rode a horse. He patrolled the Canadian border. And we were still in high school when he used to write home and say, he had to do this, do that. I went in the service, I was drafted.
Oh yeah, I don't want to go in the Army.
He didn't want to go
with the Army. In fact, I told Grandma I was going to go by and join the Navy.
Yeah.
But I went there and I saw that blousy pants they wear, and I said, the hell with it. I went across the hall and joined the Marines.
They tell you, you gotta go. How did we feel? We were against that, you know what I mean? We didn't feel like but we had to go. We were drafted.
Enlisted in the Marines.
Enlisted. It was
and
different.
about a week later, they called me up that I had to go to Milwaukee, and from there, I went to San Diego, California, boot camp. 1943, when I went in.
1943.
It seemed kind of funny. Everybody told you what to do, and that was more or less your training to learn how to take orders. After boot camp, which was about 8 weeks, we went to advance with Camp Elliott for about another 8 weeks. When I went overseas, I went to a place called, first was New Caledonia, that was a little island off Australia. I stayed there for about 3 or 4 weeks, a little more advanced training. And then I joined the 1st Marine Division up north in the Solomon Islands.
Guadalcanal was the first major American Pacific campaign in World War II, and the first time 1st Marine Division conducted combat operations as a division. The division's actions during this operation won it the first of 3 presidential unit citations during the war. The battles of Peleliu and Okinawa culminated in additional citations.
Went to Milwaukee 2 weeks after I graduated high school in June. We went to Milwaukee, took a physical. He said, "Oh, you're able to go. You're in good shape." There was 47 of us from Kenosha. We had to report the next Monday, North Shore. They took us to Camp Grant, Illinois, and we were sworn into the Army, and had to go through all that basic training. After we were in the Army at Camp Grant, we were on the way to California in the boxcars. They told me I was going to be a medic. Oh, who the hell wants to be a medic? I went to England. The only thing I had was my driver's license. We left from Boston, and with a whole fleet of ships, as far as you could see, we had ships, troop ships, cruisers, destroyers, and we went to England. And we only spent a half a day, and they put us on a train, and I ended up in Wales. Where I was in Wales, you could hear the Bez bombs going over. The Germans would fire these to hit London. 6-7 months before we went Omaha Beach in France.
Omaha Beach. The Battle of Normandy, which lasted from June 1944 to August 1944, resulted in the Allied liberation of Western Europe from Nazi Germany's control. Omaha Beach was the most intensely fought after beach on D-Day on June 6, 1944. Omaha Beach was 6 miles wide, the largest of all the 5 beaches. Omaha was the bloodiest of the D-Day beaches, with roughly 2,400 U.S. troops turning up dead, wounded, or missing.
It took almost 2 weeks before we could go in France. Then we started in France there. And then from there from France we went to Belgium, then we went to Luxembourg, then we went to the Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge. On December 16, 3 German armies, more than 250,000 troops, launched the deadliest and most desperate battle of the war in the west in poorly roaded, rugged, heavily forested Ardennes. As the Germans drove deeper into the Ardennes in an attempt to secure vital bridgeheads, the Allied line took on the appearance of a large bulge, giving rise to the battle's name. The Battle of the Bulge was the costliest action ever fought by the U.S. Army, which suffered over 100,000 casualties.
After the Battle of the Bulge, then we went to Germany. The Germans would come straight to tanks or the convoy, and then when they get to us, the Germans would come by and with their swastikas, they'd salute us. The Germans, later on, when they know they're going to lose the war, they'd surrender to the medics, because they know the medics didn't have no guns and that more or less protect them and take them. But when they surrendered to the tank guys or that, it's just like the Germans used to shoot our people. It was terrible, though.
In the Pacific, you had the Army, and then you had the Marines. The Marines, I think we had about 6 divisions, but they were all stationed on different islands. Little islands are, 5 by 10 or something like that. It doesn't hold many guys, When you landed on Peleliu, was the barrage lifted, we went in right away, see? But the guys that came in back of us, the second and third and fourth wave, they got the hell knocked out of them, The Japs could come out and start peppering the beach,
On September 15, 1944, U.S. Marines landed on Peleliu, one of the Palau Islands. Peleliu, a volcanic island just 6 miles long and 2 miles wide, was held by a garrison of more than 10,000 Japanese troops. Over the next several weeks, ferocious Japanese resistance inflicted heavy casualties on U.S. troops before the Americans were finally able to secure the island.
As we went further up, we went to different islands, see? You hit the island, you fought until it was all over. Till you went across the island. There was nothing, it was just another island,
All they saw was coconuts.
What?
What you ate in the jungle.
Oh, nothing. James, the rations, that's all.
Pay rations.
But in the Pacific, they didn't have no refrigeration there, So it's more or less as though we had like K rations and C rations.
They had it rough. At least I had a chance to stop take a shower once in a while, and eat good meal. The hospitals always had good meals. I had a chance.
I never forget the time, really. I was watching on guard duty in my foxhole, and I see a movement on the side there. And the gentleman looked up, and he was on it. He must have saw me right away, and he took off. And I said, "Christ, I'm glad he took off."
When the war ended, I was in France. Then I had to wait till my turn to go home. I had so many points. He was the last one to come home. I got home in June of '46.
I got home in January. I think I was the last one home.
All I had was high school education. It was all factories here. Simmons, American Motors, Brass. Went to work at Simmons. Tell you, I was glad that I went to service because I'd never seen those countries over there. All the places I've been, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, France, England, all together different. I like to pull the cork out and let it sink. The island of England. But like I say, I was glad I was a medic. He had it rough. I was very fortunate.
You're always proud that you served.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, really.
But
You were one of the boys.